Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight. The Hookup on Music is live, and we are here at episode 56. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. Tonight, we have a special guest, which I'm going to bring him out in 1 second. But I just want to say thank you very much again for joining us tonight and for the first 55 episodes where we weren't live, but now we are live. So thank you for joining us. Let me bring out my musical compadre here. Here he is, Mr. BrewHandLuke. What is up, my man?
What's going on, man? I can't believe you're on episode 56 already. That's incredible. That's an accomplishment.
I'm like I always like to be just like collecting records.
Yep.
It excites me to look at my record. Like I remember my first CD, your first records, and then you're building them up, and you're like, wow, I've gotten here already.
Yep.
But I want to thank you and your awesome accomplishments with the Grateful Ducks. I got to be honest with you. I have not told you this, and I've waited to get you back on here. You
Okay.
got me into college football this year, my
Oh,
man.
nice.
I've always been into every sport, but the college football has always eluded me. And honestly, you do a really great job on your show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's the name of the game is like half the reason why the college football podcast started in the first place was to, evolve the sport. Like college football is at an all-time high as far as their stock right now, and they're expanding into a 12-team playoff. And to get more casual fans or people that aren't fans of the sport at all more into the sport. And I think it's been a success so far to this point. I would like to say, hopefully, with more growth in the episodes moving forward and more fans, casual fans, getting more involved in it, I think you're going to see more popularity in the sport,
Yeah, and
So,
that's awesome to shed that light on it. Just like tonight, we're going to shed a light on some really, really awesome musical topics. One that just happens to line up because you are here is Pearl Jam has recently come out with a brand new song, and boy, it sounds good. Just a little bit of a clip of it right there. But
yep.
again, Dark Matter is the name of the new album and the name of the track released. What do you think so far, my man?
Dude, it's a banger. It's like the Matt Cameron drum line opening up, and then you've got the Mike McCready guitar solo near the end there. It's just it reminds me of 90s Pearl Jam. Like I am so excited for this album and this tour.
When that guitar solo takes off, of course, like as you stated, it really, 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 it's awesome. It's something that you want to really check it out. As Mad Scientist Doran says, it's you said it's popping out of that stereo, and brings back those old '90s like a little bit too. But I'm
Yeah,
also a big fan. I've also been honestly, I've looked back at all their last 4 or 5 albums and been a big fan of the first single that they released.
yes.
It's always when you sit back and listen to the rest of it, does it all mold? And I'm hoping this one does.
Man, I am very impressed so far, and this was uncharted territory for them because they made this whole album in 3 weeks, which was something that the recording studio that they were working with and the main guy, I can't remember the guy's name that is behind the recording studio, but he was basically like, "You guys are talented. You could get this done in 3 weeks. I know that's not your MO, but like if you guys mash this together and work really hard at it, you're going to put together some incredible work. Just be who you are. Be Pearl Jam." And they're like, "All right, fuck it. 3 weeks. Let's get it done."
Let's do
So,
it.
yeah.
That's and just those little details like this are definitely really what makes it more the whole entire thing. What am I doing here? Where am I at? Where's that thing here?
What do we got?
Hold on a second here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's what the problem is. Okay, there we go. We're all good here. But yes, back to live shows. That's what's
The
awesome.
best.
You never
Yep.
know what the thing is. And I'll tell you what happened there, folks, is I went to go send this out to people to see and actually hit the press the view button like I'm watching it, but I'm actually doing the show, folks. I would not be watching it. But
Oh,
again,
phenomenal.
you just recently, I saw as recently as I think it was yesterday, posted that you picked up your tickets for the
I
show
did.
at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, my credit card statement's gonna be a little bit more significant next time around, but I don't care because when they come to Chicago, and especially when it's a Wrigley show, I'm just saying it doesn't matter. Like, I'm paying, you know. So I got the Thursday show, the 29th. I've got floor seats, and then Saturday is somewhere in general seating. They don't give you those details until they send the tickets, I believe. But yeah, it's secured. The bag is secured for both nights. So
Have you ever made a trek down to Noblesville, what used to be Deer Creek?
that's on my list, man. I got to get there.
It's a good one. It's
Yeah.
definitely like an Alpine Valley type of experience in
Hmm.
itself. Seen quite a few shows there.
Okay.
It's it's better than Tinley Park.
Yep.
Tinley Park has been known to not have sometimes the best of sound, but I don't know if that's why sometimes bands don't go there. Like, I don't know, Pearl. I mean, of course they're going to Wrigley probably because of their. Would you say their connection? Is that why?
There's definitely that connection there. You know, I mean, they were very close with Theo, who's no longer there, but they still have a lot of connections with the Cubs and Wrigley with Eddie, and they always want to get that done. I was a little surprised that last summer they were not at Wrigley, but they still had two phenomenal United Center shows. So
Which they don't. Again, I mean, trying to follow them as of recent, they don't do too many. I mean, around the Chicagoland area indoor
no,
shows. So, yeah, I like to look up sometimes. As you can see, I post old flyers and stuff like this, and I found one. It was them playing like the Chicago Stadium before it closed. It was like
yep.
94, somewhere around there, 95. But it's cool that they are entwined into Chicago, and you've had a chance to see them. How many times is this going to be now?
This will be 12 and 13.
12 and 13. 12
So
and 13. Very, very awesome.
yeah,
But new album is going to be something, and it's coming out April 19th. So
yeah. It's coming out the same weekend as Record Store Day, so that's going to be a dangerous weekend.
yeah, a lot of different stuff. You're gonna be buying a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
weekend. A lot of stuff. Um, but I had you go ahead and pick out, well, let's say I had you pick out 3 albums and
Okay.
see. And what inspired me to do this was recently within the last month, I saw you pick up 3 albums, and one of them blew my wig back. It was, I don't know, you probably didn't pick it for tonight, but seeing that you picked up Back in Black, and not only did you pick up Back in Black, you were talking about how awesome it was, and it's for me, a lot of those more of the songs not played on the radio, it's a good one, and, well, it just shows me that you, of course, know your stuff. So what did we pick out tonight?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with The Cure.
Oh,
Speaking of Record Store Day, The Cure had a live record store release last year just called Show.
yeah.
Um, this is where I should have done this, but I did not. I should have brought the actual vinyl to look at the exclusive, like the actual record design on it, because it's really cool.
Oh, it is?
Um, it's a live recording from Auburn Hills in 1993, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
And they play all their classic hits all the way
Yeah,
through the album.
Auburn Hills, Michigan, the Palace,
Yep,
which, again, just hearing a place called the Palace of Auburn Hills sounds like you're gonna see a cool show there to me. Um,
yep.
it was released back in '93. Okay,
Hmm.
I think we're similar close. I'm 11, you're probably right around 9 years old. This is
Yep.
being released, and, personally, I remember the CD release of it, but, this album, though, sounds like it was a good one.
Oh, it's right towards the top of my vinyl collection right now. Like, I try to go and, like, I think most people do, you want to play through all of your collections, but then, like, I find myself going right back to this one. You know, I keep finding myself going. I'm like, I got to put that Cure album on again. I got to put that Cure vinyl on again. Like, it's like once a month right now that it's going on, and I'm spinning that one because it's just so. I mean, it's newer for me because I got it at last year's Record Store Day still. It's less than a year old, but it's just like it is just so, so good, and everything they are able to do in a live performance, like, I saw them when they played at Lollapalooza. I don't know what year that was now.
A couple years ago, I think it
Yeah,
was. Yeah.
but it was like that was special. But this is like authentic, like true OG Cure, like in the early '90s, and it's like, man, these guys don't fuck around. Like,
No, they don't, and they put on a performance. They do not skimp on the song list.
hmm
Um, I believe this last year, I could be wrong, they played Riot Fest or something within the last couple
yes,
again, and it's almost a 3 hours, almost 2 and a half, 3-hour set.
yeah,
And, what's your, so you obviously like The Cure a lot. Me, I like The Cure a lot too. Um, for me, it was all like I went back and I'm looking here at show, but a lot of good songs on this double album here. You
yeah.
know, a lot of good, again, some more, even some deeper cuts and stuff like that. But that definitely would be one to, if you're out there, to look into. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think I remember you posted it or something, and
Yep.
it's everything that you're explaining it to be. Is it a picture? Is the vinyl a picture one, or is it just normal vinyl?
It's like so it's a picture on the I mean it's a black vinyl, but there's a
Okay.
picture like on the inside on the label that just it pops. It's like a trying to pull it up right now. I mean, it's hard to describe it. It's like a neon tie-dye kind of vibe with
Oh,
some
cool.
like some flames coming out there. It's just it is it's just a really cool design on the label there.
Again,
Um
yeah, I mean, I almost said Pearl Jam again. The Cure, it'd be aw now that I said that out loud, now I put it out there that maybe imagining The Cure and Pearl Jam doing something, that'd be
that w-
nuts.
that would be a must see must attend festival
Well,
music
you think
fest
about
somewhere.
2 I mean, again, Pearl Jam, s a band to not stop like Pearl Jam and back to The Cure.
Yeah.
The Cure, I mean, Cure have been around since the '70s, you know what I mean? And a lot of people always all put them in the '80s bracket.
Yeah.
I remember first hearing them of I'm listening to Metallica, and it goes like Enter Sandman and then Friday I'm in Love. So you could imagine, I was like, "What is this?" And honestly, now I love that song so much, I
It's
do not ever
so much energy.
do not turn the song off. I
Yep.
don't turn any of their songs off personally. I've none of them. And again, another band where if you listen to the whole album, from front to start, you're even gonna find out more
Yes.
greatness about them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
It's
definitely. There is nothing, more to say than they're very awesome. What's
yeah.
your second pick? What do you got?
So I'm gonna go OG here a little bit and go deep cut that I'm sure you've talked about on other episodes. I'm not. Maybe you haven't. But again, this is probably at least 6 or 7 times a year. I'm scanning and I'm looking through the collection, and then I find my way back to Huey Lewis and the News and sports.
Yes.
How can you not love?
Honestly,
It's one of the most iconic finals of all time.
honestly, I personally have never talked about Huey Lewis or
Okay,
sports on the show, and
hell yeah.
honestly, this just it makes this show even more exciting because Huey uh, is awesome for many, many different reasons. In sports, I remember personally, I think it's out in the garage, like my dad's 8-track of sports. You know, I mean, and again, an iconic cover, too. It reminds me like I'm sitting in a there used to be out in Orland Park, it was called Charlie Horse. It had like sports
Okay.
flags all over the wall. It feels like you're sitting in a cool sports bar, but top to bottom, another album with great, great, great tracks. Bad is Bad is definitely one that
Oh my god.
you
The
know,
like
it's
just the energy all the way through the album. Like the the needle drops and it's just like right away. It's like boom. Like
that's
it's
the
just like let's go. Like,
the heart of rock and
oh
the
my
heart of rock
god.
and roll, man. Just the way it's the way
Oh, you got so fired up you muted yourself.
I want to plug as I slam the boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Oh, just I like I said, 6 to 7 times a year, I'm going through the collection. I'm like, it's a sports kind of a day. It's a sports day. Like like yeah, that album cover is just hilarious. Like, it's
Well,
great.
I mean, you're having a bad day at work. If This Is It does not fit, if it doesn't fit into but again, I think back to some of my, I tried to be in bands in high school,
Mhm.
and we were always trying to be, like, more of, like, what the fad is for the time, like Limp Bizkit or something like that,
Yeah.
and I look back after when I was in college, and I look back at those times, and I was like, "If I could do a band again, it would be like Huey Lewis and the News." Full of energy,
Yep.
all you're trying to do is get people up and have a good time, and the songwriting is key, and I think, the News did a good job along with
Oh,
Huey, you know?
and that's one, I'm very much motivated, especially in the summertime. It's like it's such a summertime vibe. Or like that first 70-degree day in like April or February, like it was today. Like
Yeah.
it's
What
like, oh man, the weather's nice, the sun's out. I'm gonna sit on my balcony, put this on, and have a couple drinks and just chill out and like feel the vibes right there. Like it's
it's again, like, here's a little bit of a fact of the album. It says, "Bad is Bad" was written actually, by Lewis's original band, which was called Clover,
okay.
while Lewis was working with Thin Lizzy. Which is crazy to think about. Whose frontman Phil would who liked the song so much, and they sang a faster paced version of it. But to imagine Thin Lizzy and Huey Lewis,
Oh my god.
Phil Lynott hanging out together. I mean, it's kind of cool. And Huey again, you know what I mean? I like to go back. If you even go back and have some time and go back to like the couple albums before Sports, the two albums
Okay.
before, it's again it's kind of like Robert Palmer, a deafening
Yep.
sound, a growing sound. Huey Lewis even became more popular when I saw American Psycho, and I could finally the people next to me knew who Huey Lewis was finally, and I could be like, "See, Huey Lewis, Huey Lewis is pretty good." But good pick though. Huey Lewis is a very very good pick. What do you got lined up next here? The final third vinyl.
Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of a combo of we were on the Pearl Jam topic and
Mhm.
Record Store Day. So last year, Record Store Day again. And I think this was my most recently played one, so I kind of going that route there. It's called Give Way.
Okay.
It was a live recording from when they were in Australia on the Yield tour.
Ooh.
So Yield is my favorite Pearl Jam album ever. So I spin that probably 10 times a year. And then they came out with this exclusive release, and then so you got Yield, and then you have Live on Two Legs, and then they took it to another level with this recording from Australia, and it's from the same tour. And I was like, well, I gotta add this to the collection, and it's going through all their like your typical Pearl Jam show, but putting in a lot of the Yield tracks in there on top of it. It's just so satisfying to see their work be put into essentially three different completely styles of albums with Live on Two Legs, which is like a collection of all their shows from the Yield tour. Then you got Giveaway, and then the original with Yield. It's just so create three different ways to have that album on vinyl. Essentially, is the way I look at it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and again, loaded from front to back,
Hmm.
17 tracks. Um, Ending with actually one of my favorites, Immortality.
Oh my god.
Um, you know, um, the guitar on that song, it's just I couple things really quick. Number one, do you when did you start listening to Pearl Jam? Like what time period was it before Yield? Was it after? Had they already released this?
Gosh, it was so you had 10 and Versus in the
Mhm.
early days, and I want to say it was Versus. We were in my parents' basement, my brother and I, and they put the album on, and right away I'm like, "Who's this?" I like this band a lot, and then I couldn't stop listening to 10 and Versus over and over again. Like that was my first like discovery into the 90s alternative wave and the grunge era and the rock metal era, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like this I found my sound.
Yeah,
Like
this is it.
this, and then I got into a lot of the '90s alternative and grunge with Nirvana, Foo Fighters, and everything. But I always kept going back to Pearl Jam. I just got hooked on them because they were that first one that I really got into as a younger kid. And gosh, second or third grade, I want to say it was just, and then they've been around since.
When I went to Vincennes, which is in the very southern tip of Indiana for
Okay.
1 year before I went to Ball State. And I met this guy down there, and he was trying to win his girlfriend back, and he wanted to know what a good song would be. And me and this other guy, being funny, said, "Why don't you do Better Man?" And he's like, "That's a good one. That's actually a really good one." And he learned the guitar and everything.
Yep.
And then he started singing it, and then the lyrics don't really favor him in the song,
Yeah.
So I always think about that in Pearl Jam. But again, right around the same time as you, I remember Even Flow being the first song that I heard on the
Mhm.
radio, and then after that is when Jeremy kind of exploded. But Yield, I remember specifically spending the night at a friend's house who lived, walking distance to River Oaks and mall in Calumet City, and I bought Yield because it was Pearl Jam, man,
Yep.
and Pearl Jam. And to this day, a lot of people, yeah, they say some negative things, but when Pearl Jam comes out with something new, you have to check into it. You just can't
Yep.
tune it away.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it is that's my favorite Pearl Jam album. But the first 1 to 2 listens through for me it was a challenge. I didn't like it at first. I'm like, this is not the same as what I was getting out of Vitalogy and
It's a very
10
mature
and
listen
Versus.
compared to the other
Yeah.
ones a little bit, like Given to Fly and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It's a little bit, which I think when you sit back and listen to it, I think that's kind of where it's a little bit of its magic.
Yeah.
I even spent a lot of time recently diving into no code, and
Yes.
trying to, and there is a lot of cool stuff in there. Um, some of this stuff though, when it's released and you immediately compare it to, you know, 10 or Versus or
Yeah.
Vitalogy, people are immediately like, no, no, but
Yep.
everyone's that's fair. Tonight, what I've decided to do is, you being the Grateful Dead fan that you
Mhm.
are, I decided that every time you come on, I'm going to throw a song at you, and we're going to see what you think of said song. So
Okay.
tonight's song is, let's play the video here.
Preaching on the burning shore, California.
So we got tonight Estimated Profit,
Oh my god.
which is from an amazing little bit of an album called Terrapin Station. And what do you think about Estimated Profit?
It just brings me back to the heydays, if you will, of the Dead. Like just hearing that song, and then you just think that what like you hear that song and you think immediately, this is what the Grateful Dead is like. This is the sound of the Grateful Dead. You hear that and you hear that jam, and like when I hear that song, I think of God, it was 2 years ago. I was in San Francisco for a White Sox trip when they played the Giants out there. I made it a mandatory thing to go to Haight-Ashbury and go see
As
the
you should.
original Grateful Dead house. Hearing that song just puts Haight-Ashbury in my brain. Like that's
It's I like the rhythm, the
Mhm.
rhythm of the song, and I like what Jerry's doing on his guitar. That guitar, wow, 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 wow,
Ah,
whole entire song again. Um, and Bob's vocals again, you know, um, for me, I think that is what took the most for me to come around to saying, wow, it's actually sometimes can sit back and it's just as awesome, or could be even more awesome at times as Jerry. And I think the song is an encapsulation of it all. Everyone's playing, Phil, his bass line is
yeah.
incredible. And again, kicking off the album, which again ends with the Terrapin Station Suite. It's a good kickoff for the studio version. Of course, the live versions. There's so many amazing live versions.
Yeah, it's like it's the Grateful Dead in a nutshell. Like they have some other songs that are more, upbeat, but they jam. Like and like you get the vibe of the jam. Like you're picking up everything that they made them what they were and what they are. Because I mean, they're still. I mean, Dead and Co. is still it's still them. Like they got creative like the last shows last year, but bringing it back, running it back with the Sphere
Yeah.
because like my God, like
You of course, dream come true would be sitting in the Sphere watching,
God,
watching them play because again, you too looks amazing play
yep,
sitting in there and playing, you know what I mean? Just when they do like it looks like they're doing like where the streets have no name or something and you're in the desert, it looks like in the desert landscape. And just to be imagining to be sitting in there is just again, as you said, they still and they always will have, the magic of being the Dead. The
yep.
last thing I have here for us tonight is
Okay,
I picked 3 tracks here, and I'm gonna play them
okay,
for you, and I wanna know just your quick thoughts about the band or the song, or, hey,
okay,
you might not even have heard them, but I'm gonna think that maybe you have, but
okay.
here is the very first one here. Here we go. It is the Eagles, "One of
Yep.
These Nights." What is your feelings, Luke, on the Eagles?
Oh man, this is where I'm gonna have to send this video to my dad later on because his college roommate was obsessed with the Eagles. Okay. And what did my dad, being the deadhead, do? He fucking hated the Eagles. I'm more like middle of the road there. Like
Yeah,
I think they're cool that they're a good one to just chill out to and listen
yeah,
and
yeah.
jam to. They're not like in a regular rotation for me. But like when I think of the Eagles, I think about my dad and his roommate from college, who he still talks to, to this
Yeah.
day,
Oh, yeah.
and like just the battles and the stories he has about, man, I fucking hate this band, and he won't stop playing the Eagles. He's so obsessed with them. It's like, but then he would put on the Grateful Dead, and his roommate would say the same shit. He goes, "This band sucks. Like, what are you listening to? What is this? What is this hippie shit?" Like, so that's
I'm kind of like that. Of course, I like the Dead a lot more. But
mhm,
again, with the Eagles, I've stepped away from the radio songs and try to dig a little bit deeper. Again, some of the songs, I close my eyes and imagine like I'm in a desert or something like that,
mhm.
like trying to put yourself in there. But I heard that song on the radio yesterday and I was like, I'm curious to see what his thoughts were on the Eagles.
That's
Next
a
up,
perfect question.
yes, yes. Next up here is a jam band here. Let's see if you have heard this one. Now, you might not have heard this song, but it's Widespread Panic. Have you ever
Okay.
spent any time listening to any Widespread Panic?
A little. Like I know them. I haven't. That's one that I'm like I got to get more into them because they were
That's where
big.
I am right now.
Like,
Honestly,
yeah.
my friend, I've only listened to probably 10, 12, 15 tracks,
Mhm.
and I've seen them twice live. They played with Allman Brothers Band when I saw them twice live. But, I heard that song "Airplane" recently. It was on one of the flashbacks on XRT, and that's what I told myself is exactly what you just said. I gotta listen more, so I was curious, and we'll both do a little bit more digging into that.
Yeah,
And yeah, go ahead.
they were big, like, in the mid to late '90s, like, they
Yeah,
were touring, they were big, that song right there gives me a little bit of Tom Petty vibes, which is
it does.
intriguing.
It
So,
does, and they had 3 shows this next week, I believe were sold out at the Chicago Theater.
okay.
Somebody got sick, but they moved them up to, like, the end of the month.
Ah, okay.
But, again, um 3 shows at the Chicago Theater, still people, I guess, they still got the fan
Yeah,
base just like the Dead.
yep.
Um, Last one here. Here we go.
Spend my days with a woman unkind.
What does BrewHandLuke think about Led Zeppelin and going to California?
Going to California, just that song specifically puts a smile on my face.
Good song. It sure
Like,
does,
just
doesn't it?
that song just, like, you hear that song, you're in the car, you're like, I'm putting my windows down, I'm blasting this shit, like, That song just like, I don't know, going to California, and then you had Estimated Profit earlier. Like, I don't know, like the West Coast is cool, man. Expensive as
Yeah,
shit, but the West
it's
Coast is cool. Like,
yeah. I we tried. Me and my wife tried to upend and live there for a little bit, and
yeah.
it was awesome. And I still have dreams.
Yep.
That's the thing because just like you said, those vibes from those songs and hearing them and being out there, um, definitely cool. One more here since I got a second here.
Yeah.
Recently we just did on the at the show, we did La Bamba. We broke down La Bamba, Richie Valens, Los Lobos. But this song right here, this song's been popping up in commercials and stuff. You ever hear this one? I don't know why, but this song has been stuck in my head. Like when work's bad, anything's going wrong, it's like,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden I'm listening in my headphones to another song. I take them off. It's in a commercial, but that's this is the things that stick with us. I appreciate you joining me tonight, BrewHandLuke.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully, maybe again sometime soon down the road, you can come back and join us, pick some more records. We'll throw some more bands at you.
Yep.
See what you think.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'll be happy to come back anytime that you need me to come and shoot the shit,
Awesome.
and
Love shooting the shit. Everyone
so
out there, please make sure that you check out the Grateful Ducks.
yeah,
It's very awesome.
it's I got to get another episode going at some point. It's you go to work all day and then you got to record, and it's like, okay, and here we go again. Like
These recordings really are like almost like it's like you said, shooting. You get to shoot the breeze about some
Yep.
cool stuff, and and I really appreciate it. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, my man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No
Appreciate it.
problem. We
Yeah.
will talk soon. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the very, very first live The Hookup on Music, episode 56. I hope everyone had a good time out there. Please tune in next week. We are going to again have another awesome show with a great guest, which we will drop later this week. So please tune in. Everybody, listen to Pearl Jam. Listen to that new track. Listen to some Estimated Profit. Please check out The Cure's The Show. Until the next time, everyone, my name is Tony. This is the Hookup on Music. Also, check out all the awesome stuff on the Sadistic Penguin Studios. Just recently, we had the At the Draft, Getting Drafty in here. Really awesome episode talking about wrestling. Awesome, cool stuff. We also have At the Show coming up this week on Friday. We're going to be talking about My Cousin Vinny, an amazing movie. It's going to be live at 8 p.m. So check that out. I will be on there, and my amazing co-host Jumper will be joining me. It's going to be great. Till next week, everyone. Thank you so much. We will talk soon. And when we talk soon, we're going to be talking about a lot more awesome music. So everyone, take care.